budgets, operational logistics, food purchasing and preparation, scheduling, physical therapy, officiating, coaching. These careers are all related. What exciting and ever-evolving profession brings all these talents and skills together? Tennis. The US Open is the world's highest attended sporting event that brings together the top players in tennis each summer for a 2-week entertainment extravaganza. And the road to the Open is paved with lots of people working in all different types of careers in tennis that make it all happen. Welcome, I'm James Blake, a retired professional tennis player and now chairman of the United States Tennis Association Foundation.
And I'm Ragan Pape, a junior in the Professional Tennis Management Program, or PTM for short. PTM programs are a great way to jumpstart your career in tennis. They can offer job placement, paid internships, networking opportunities, and more.
Tennis is a rapidly growing sport in the US and is considered by most to be a sport for a lifetime. Tennis clubs are opening across the country in record numbers, and the need for professionals in the tennis industry is growing just as fast. So whether you're an avid player or just enjoy watching the sport, there's a career for you in tennis.
I'm here at the USTA National Campus in Orlando, Florida. Throughout our program, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at different careers in tennis and talk to some professionals who are really passionate about their jobs and get an inside look at their day-to-day responsibilities. This is Careers Beyond the Court.
Hi, my name is Kaitlyn Flaherty, and I am the head tennis professional at MacGregor Downs Country Club in Cary, North Carolina. You might be surprised to find out what a tennis professional does on a regular basis, and you might even wonder if we get to play tennis all day long. But as a head tennis professional, you wear a lot of different hats in your job. I chose to double major in business and marketing at Methodist University with a concentration in the professional tennis management. I knew that I wanted to go into the tennis industry in some way, shape, or form. And I knew that with those degrees and the concentration, I would be able to do so. And as a head tennis professional, I'm really able to use a lot of what I learned in college and put that to good use into what I'm doing today. I would say what people might find most surprising about my job is that it is a job. What they see us doing is having a good time out on the courts, so sometimes it's surprising that you can actually turn something like that into a viable career. During my typical day, usually what I will do is I will get to the club a little bit early. There's usually some sort of court maintenance to do, so that requires sweeping the courts, making sure that the facility looks nice and presentable for all of our members. After that, I'll sit down, take some time, look at my lessons for the day, and review my lesson plans. And then I start teaching usually around 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. till about 5 o'clock, I'm on court, running through lessons with members, and then after that, I just get ready for my next day, putting things together. In my position right now, I do a lot of troubleshooting and critical thinking. When I'm teaching a tennis lesson and I'm watching someone hit a forehand or a backhand, or we're in the middle of a drill, and I have to be able to read their body language. I have to be able to tell, are you bored? Are you interested in this lesson? Do I need to give you some more information? Are you confused? So you have to pick up on those cues to really help your students.
In addition to the responsibilities that Kaitlyn talked about, being a tennis professional can prepare you with a wide variety of skills that can open doors to additional careers in other industries as well.
Hey Kyle, think fast.
Got it. Hi, my name is Kyle LaCroix. I am the Assistant Director of Tennis at the Oaks at Boca Raton. I grew up playing tennis in Florida, played all the tournaments, and I loved tennis so much I knew I wanted to do it for a career. So I enrolled in the Professional Tennis Management Program, and after 4 years of very intensive training and education, I received a degree in marketing. A PTM degree is unlike anything else because you not only get to combine your love for tennis, but you also get a great educational background with a business degree in marketing. And from a business perspective, as a tennis professional, you don't necessarily need to be a great player, but you do need to obviously have the business skills, and that's something that the Professional Tennis Management Program will give you. I've been at my club for 13 years, so a lot of my role has to do with experience, just being able to be put in a situation where I've seen it all before. One thing I've realized is through the Professional Tennis Management Program, I was able to get a head start on that before a lot of other people did. As an assistant director of tennis, it's all encompassing. Every day is something new, it's something different, something exciting. I get to work early. My job entails clay court maintenance, programming, clinics, private lessons, the junior program, evening clinics, but also being a people person, having the people skills, not just being able to be nice and friendly, get along with them, but also being able to connect with them. Communication plays an essential role in my job. Communication with my staff, communication with my membership, communication with my students. Everyone has to be on the same page. We have to know what the goals are and how to get there. Any student that's interested in a career in tennis, obviously the first thing you need is passion. You really have to enjoy it. You don't have to be the greatest player in the world to have a job in the industry. There's numerous jobs besides just teaching tennis. But like any other job, if you want to be good and you want to be successful at it, is you got to be prepared to work hard. You got to be prepared to do anything that is asked of you. And that's really also how you get better at your job, is gaining that experience, not turning anything down, being able to take on everything from clay court maintenance to budgeting to event planning. All of those things are going to make you a better professional.
Both of your careers are so inspiring to a student like me. It's always helpful to ask questions outside of the classroom, so we have some questions from other students for you today.
Great.
Sounds good.
Kaitlyn, how can careers in tennis open doors for other types of careers?
Ragan, that's a great question. There's a lot of skills that you can take from being a tennis professional and put those into other career paths. I would say that one of those would be communication skills, another would be your organizational and management skills, and then third would probably be your people skills. And all of those can really move you forward in another industry other than tennis.
So Kyle, you got a marketing degree from a PTM program. Can you tell me about how you used that degree in your job at the Oaks?
Sure. Well, at my club, we do a lot of social media, lots of stuff on Facebook, and the members absolutely love it.
Now, Kaitlyn, I know a question on a lot of graduating students' minds, myself included, is where am I going to go after graduation? What kind of job can I get with my PTM degree? So what sort of opportunities are there kind of across the country when you have a PTM degree?
So the great thing is that tennis is so popular across the country and even across the world that there are plenty of job opportunities available pretty much wherever you would like to go, and a lot of the times in some of the most desirable areas.
You can't play tennis without a racket. It's the most important piece of equipment used by all players. Let's take a look at the science and technology behind building the perfect racket.
Head back out.
Whoa, I can't catch all those. I need a perfectly strung racket. Hi, my name is Sean Prokes, and as manager of Racquet Bar at the USTA National Campus, my job is to ensure that players have the best equipment with them when they go out on the court. Racquet Bar manager is kind of interesting. I basically have full reign over the Racquet Bar. I have a really great, reliable team. We all work under one system, which is really important. So our stringers are fully capable of doing the same exact things I would do so that players get the same quality of work day in and day out. Part of being Racquet Bar manager also means working inside the pro shop, from outfitting people for the rackets of their choice or the best racket for them, working with demos, working with sales representatives to make sure we have the newest and best technology out there. I actually attended the University of Albany, State University of New York, and I studied urban planning and geography with a minor in Spanish. Basically, I got my degrees, went to look for a job, and it was not nearly as easy as I thought it was going to be. There was no $100,000 job waiting for me. So I quickly asked my dad for a job right away. I worked the next day when I came home from college and got right back into tennis, kind of where I left off when I was about 16. My dad has his own business. His name is Roman. So I work for a company called RPNY Tennis. It means Roman Prokes New York Tennis. And growing up, he was always traveling with pro players. He was the personal stringer for Andre Agassi. So I was surrounded by tennis forever. And basically, I ran away from it. And then after college, I got back into the business and learned everything I could. Training is pretty simple. You need to work hard, you need to have good hands, you need to be attentive, pay attention to minor details. One of the most important things you need is patience. Nobody who starts stringing a racket for the first time is miraculously good at it. It's tedious until you know how to do it. I think that once you know how to do it, you actually end up loving what you do. It's almost therapeutic in a way. I think that conversational skills and being social is really important. Part of working at the Racquet Bar here is sometimes you have waves of players and you need to make sure to get quick, reliable information that turns into a good product when you hand that racket back to them. I think that students would find it surprising that everybody here, including myself, does absolutely everything. There's no task that is beneath you. You have to sweep the floors, you pick up string off the floor, we clean our machines every morning, so there's a lot of personal responsibility and a lot of stuff that goes into it that you don't see aside from the stringing and the racket work. Especially as a leader, it's really important to do that because nobody can go and tell you, oh, you know, that task is below me. Tennis is a team sport. It requires a lot of collaboration to achieve excellence. My friend Joel Disbrow works with pro players at the highest level to help them achieve success. Hey, Joel.
Thanks, Sean. You're so right. Tennis really is a team sport. It takes a whole group of people to make sure our players are in top condition. My name is Joel Disbrow. I am lead racket technician at Wilson Sporting Goods. I customize the rackets for our top 100 or so sponsored players, so taking requests, getting the rackets done, making sure they're exactly the same, and then the other part of my job is tour stringing. So going to certain tournaments where we're the official stringer and taking care of our players' rackets there. So when I'm on tour, the hours are pretty long. We need, depending on when rackets need to be strung, that's when we go in. Could be as early as 5 a.m. And then we leave, we have to stay till the last match is done. Players typically carry 6 to 10 rackets in their bag, and it's very important to them, of course, that every racket is exactly the same. Same weight, same everything, same tension. They play tennis so much that they can notice very little differences. So we had a late night at the US Open. I think it was maybe midnight. And we had 2 top 10 players on the court. And all of a sudden, all these rackets start coming in. And it's multiple rackets for the same player that he wants them done on court. So we're used to getting on-court rackets, but not that many at a time. And it turns out the weather was changing pretty drastically. So he wanted every racket in his bag restrung. So we have guys cutting out, we have guys stenciling, we have guys stringing. That night was pretty stressful, but in the end, the player won and was happy. When I'm in the office, it can be as many as 10 to 20 players a week, depending on who is requesting rackets. So a lot of my job is deciphering, what the player is saying to what I need to do to the racket. So if they say the racket needs to be faster or it's not moving through the air like I want it to, then I know what I need to do to change it so they're happy. In my job, math and science is really important. A racket has about 21 different points of reference that we need to check before it goes out. A lot of cause and effect. Putting weight here will do this to the racket, putting it here will do something else. I enjoy being able to help players, essentially being not really a part of their team, but a part of what makes them successful. So when you're watching all these players on TV, it's really cool that I'm behind the scenes and I'm working on these rackets and I'm helping the players do what they're doing.
Now, Joel, can you tell me the difference between natural versus synthetic strings?
Yeah, so gut is a natural product. It comes from cows, so it's woven naturally. It's much different than synthetic. Synthetic is mostly polyester these days.
Okay.
Just, machine-made copolymer polyester, and they have very different properties.
Sean, what kind of real-world experience should students look for to help them prepare for a career in tennis?
I think that a job in tennis is obviously the most helpful. Obviously you surround yourself with all the people that can really help you out and get you into the right places, but working in retail is really important. Most racket stringing has some type of pro shop element, and you'll be dealing with a lot of different customers on a daily basis, selling shoes and clothes, all the other accessories. I also think that whether you've played tennis or not, you really want to get into the sport because it'll help you really understand the products that are out there and the technologies that are coming out every single day.
We've learned a lot about the equipment side of tennis, but another important element to a player's team is their performance coach.
Being mentally tough is an important part of any player's conditioning. Experts in sports psychology and performance consulting work hard to ensure players achieve their potential both on and off the court.
Here's a guy whose career requires him to have a lot of balls in the air. Hey Ed, heads up.
Catch.
Think fast.
Got it. My name is Ed Tseng, and I'm a mental performance consultant. I work with athletes from all over the world, but I didn't always know what I wanted to be when I grew up. A performance consultant helps athletes overcome mental challenges from focus, motivation, stress reduction. And I do Skype sessions, I do phone sessions, I do in-person sessions, and basically help them do their best when it means the most. Towards the end of high school, my father said, "You're going to study computers," because he was in computers and it was a good field. and I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I started studying computers at Rider College at the time. But after 2.5 years, I failed out twice. I failed out, I appealed it, they let me back in, and then I failed out again and appealed it, and they said, sorry, we can't let you back in. So I had to do a little soul searching, and at that point in time, I said, if I don't follow my passion, I'm gonna regret it. I loved tennis, teaching tennis, but I had no experience. So I found the president and vice president of the USTA in New Jersey at the time, and I said, I want to teach tennis, I'd love to learn from you and teach for free. They took me under their wings, and after a few months, I was teaching full-time for them, and my parents said, that's great that you're doing what you love and making money, but we feel it's important to get a degree. So that's when I sought out Ferris State University for their marketing professional tennis management program. And the funny thing about that is, once I got into that program and I started doing what I loved, my grades skyrocketed. And I didn't get a brain transplant, right? I just went from being in school to being into school, and graduated from that program, started teaching at the Princeton Racquet Club for about 10 years. And then I started my own company and started speaking, specializing in the mental side, writing books. I've been a TEDx speaker a couple times, blogger for the Huffington Post, and now I'm here. Ferris State's professional tennis management program really helped me, because one of the biggest challenges in the industry has always been that there's been a lot of great coaches, a lot of great administrators, but not a lot who have the overlap. So I think it really helps you learn the business side and the coaching side, and that's a major advantage for people entering the industry. I think what I enjoy most about my job is really seeing the transformation from people. I've worked with people who were having panic attacks on the court and couldn't even finish matches, to playing the best ever and enjoying the game more than ever. I once met an athlete in a restaurant after one of my lectures. He didn't even come to my lecture, and he was a former professional athlete, and he was struggling at that time. He was in a 6-year deep depression, therapy and medication, and nothing was working for him. So I actually gave him a free session right there in the restaurant. And about a week later, he left me the nicest voicemail. He said, Ed, the night that I met you is the first night in the past 6 years that I went to bed smiling and I woke up smiling, and I felt like that ever since. He said, I'm noticing colors in the world now. Now I realize that I wasn't depressed for 6 years. I was just thinking depressing thoughts, and I was living in that world. And now he's one of the most optimistic people that I know. So when I got the call, it was a voicemail, but it was so emotional for me, because I knew that, number one, he was feeling better. But I also knew that, number two, that's the potential that we all have. I went from failing out of college twice to being an Olympic coach in Rio, writing books, being a TEDx speaker. So I think it's very critical to get mentors, talk to people, and see what kind of options there are. If you get a mentor, one of my first mentors taught me in 3 months what he developed in 30 years. So I saved myself 30 years.
Ed, you saw a need, you pursued your passion, and that's awesome. It's not always something that's easy to do. I have some really great questions from students for you.
Great, let's do it.
So how did you know who to contact to get started teaching tennis, since you didn't have much experience?
Actually, it's a funny story. I was playing tennis at an indoor facility, and on the table there was a USTA New Jersey newsletter. And in the back, it listed all the staff and the president and vice president. So I just called them up and told them I wanted to teach tennis and I had no experience and I wanted to learn from them.
Seems like it worked out.
Absolutely.
What do you wish that you'd known when you were a student, or looking back that you might do differently?
I wouldn't change much, but I might reach out to more people to network, make connections, and educate myself a little bit more.
As we've learned, people who are passionate about the game of tennis can take a variety of career paths to keep them close to the game, but not necessarily in the game itself. When it comes to the game of tennis, though, there's one tournament that is the pinnacle of the tennis profession: the US Open.
Stacy, David, heads up.
Heads up, Stacy and David.
Think fast.
Watch out.
Stacy, David, catch.
Whoa!
Well, great, okay.
Well, I think we now have enough balls for the tournament. Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Allister.
And I'm David Brewer.
We're in charge of the massive undertaking of hosting the world's top tennis players at the US Open, the premier professional level tennis tournament, and the fourth and final tennis major comprising the Grand Slam.
Every year in August and September, hundreds of thousands of people attend this event and millions tune in to watch. For this tournament, it takes a small army to ensure that everything operates smoothly.
We are here at Arthur Ashe Stadium at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing, New York, to give you a look at what it takes to run the world's largest annual sporting event, the US Open.
It's important to understand that the US Open is big enough that this is an 18-month-a-year job, We're literally planning for 2019 right now as we start to get into the 2017 tournament. So it's always ongoing, it's always looking forward. We have roughly 650 players. I would guess about 550 coaches across 3 weeks of the tournament, with fan week first, followed by 2 weeks of main draw.
How many matches, David?
That is 919 matches across 3 weeks.
This is the happening event in New York.
It is. It's quite a place.
So here we are in the US Open Media Center. We have over 1,200 journalists. Let me show you where they work. And you can see here on the screens stats. And the data and analytics is actually a growth area in sport. And so for those that are interested in technology, this is a super cool way for you to combine your IT knowledge, combining it with sport, and hopefully it's tennis. Now let me take you into the interview room, that when the player finishes their match, this is where they go. We stream the interviews live. This is where the media really try to create those unique stories. Okay, let's go look at the special chair. The athlete finishes their match, and this is where they sit. This is where Roger Federer sat yesterday. Okay, so here it is happening. Players will have 6 to 8 rackets out in their bags before a match. And you can see today is a very busy day, getting ready for main draw tomorrow. Monday and Tuesday, we have the most number of matches happening. That's why these guys are so busy. You can see that ESPN is getting ready for tomorrow's broadcast. They're ready with the cameras are in place. And this is the walk. Players get here, the referee holds them. Referee's got a microphone, and ESPN will say, we're ready, first player. And the show begins. That then cues everything from broadcast to big screen, video, music, officials. Over 22,000 people work here. Look at everyone that's working and getting this whole stadium ready and clean. So we have over 3,000 players and their guests accredited. So it becomes quite a feat to feed everyone and to provide enough space. Hello, how are you? Thousands of people help us through a multitude of different services to contribute to the athletes having a great experience and helping them win at this year's US Open.
Even after years of being part of the US Open, I'm still in awe of this awesome sporting event. The excitement never wears off. It's an incredible undertaking. Stacy and David, we've got some questions from students for you.
Okay, fire away.
What's the most challenging part of your job?
I think it's making sure that all of our customers and our clients feel like they are priority one to us. It starts with the hundreds of players we have. We have thousands of employees here during the US Open, hundreds of thousands of ticket holders that visit us, and millions of viewers around the world. And they all deserve to be number one, and we try to deliver that every day.
Another student asks, I'm really interested in sports event marketing. What advice do you have for someone who wants to get started in the events business?
The best advice I can give you, if you want to work in sports marketing, you need to learn how to communicate, and you need to learn how to sell. Sell your ideas, your tickets, your sponsorship, and if you can do that, you're going to have a really successful career in sports marketing.
I've learned a lot about careers beyond the court and can't wait to use what I've learned in my own career. James, let's finish this match.
Thanks, Ragan. As we've seen, there are a wide variety of careers in tennis, including sales, marketing, operations, and management. A degree in professional tennis management can prepare you for the career of a lifetime. We love sharing our passion for tennis with you today. Hope to see you on the court.